world's most densely populated countries in the world. With over 162 million inhabitants packed within approximately 147,000 square kilometers, it has nearly half the population of the US, but it's smaller than the state of Florida. Poverty is deep and widespread, as 31% of the population live below the national poverty line of $2 per day. Despite the political instability, poor infrastructure, corruption, and increasing Islamic terror attacks, Bangladesh's economy has annually grown by 6%, making it the second fastest growing major economy of 2016. This growth is partially due to the country's agricultural base, in which nearly half the population is employed. However, the true backbone of this economic growth is the worldwide trend of globalization. So what exactly is globalization? Well, globalization is the process of global integration and interaction among people, companies, and governments of different nations, which results in the interchange of worldviews, products, ideas, and other aspects of cultures. It is driven by international trade, investment, and information technology. Before globalization in Bangladesh, from 1948 to 1971, Bangladesh was one of the 8 poorest countries in the world. However, between 1990 and 2000, Bangladesh experienced a rapid growth in economy. This growth was the result of the emergence of manufacturing industries in Bangladesh. These industries were to export apparel overseas. This was the beginning of globalization in Bangladesh. The garment sector grew at a compound rate of 125%, and within 15 years, Bangladesh emerged as the 8th largest garment exporter to the US. Today, Bangladesh is second to China as a leading exporter of apparel with $20 billion worth of clothing export a year. But who are the silenced voices behind the clothing that you wear? Women are the dominant workforce employed in the garment industry. Out of Bangladesh's 1.8 million factory workers, over 1.5 million are female. The owners of these factories are either described as risk-taking entrepreneurs of a modernizing economy and as oppressors of women and exploitative sweatshops, but they are also hailed as the liberator of women. According to Islam, which is the state religion of Bangladesh, men are the earners of the household, and women are there to serve men, and therefore, women do not need to go outside the home. However, the emergence of garment factories have made way for more flexibility in this rigid, patriarchal society. Women have emerged as preferred workers as they can be more easily controlled and manipulated due to their docility and nimbleness in comparison to men. Their employers can easily exploit them by giving them a low salary, not ensuring their proper working environment, not allowing them on holidays, and harassing them physically and mentally. Women only make 25 cents an hour and are subjected to a working environment that is not hygienic and usually below standards. The air quality is poor and the workplace is generally overcrowded. Women also have to face demeaning remarks, unwelcome touching, and grabbing and other physical assaults.
আমি যেখানে কাজ করি সেখানে কন্ডিশন অনেক খারাপ, কারণ বাথরুমে পরিষ্কার না, পানি খেতে পারে না, এরপর এত পড়াশোনার কারণে মেয়েরা পানি খেতে পারে না এবং তাদের পানি না খাওয়ার কারণে অনেক অসুস্থ হয়ে পড়ে। কেউ জন্ডিস হয়, কেউ কিডনিতে সমস্যা, কেউ প্রেশারের সমস্যা, কেউ হার্টের সমস্যা এবং নানান ধরনের সমস্যা হয়। আবার প্রচুর পরিমাণ এক জায়গায় লাইট কম, আবার এক জায়গায় লাইট বেশি। এই লাইটের কারণে অনেক মেয়েরা কানে শুনতে পায় না, কেউ চোখে দেখতে পায় না। আবার মেশিনের এত শব্দ, এই শব্দের কারণে অনেকেই কানের সমস্যা হয়। আর ভিতরে এত গরম, জ্বালানাগুলো অনেক ছোট ছোট, এই ছোট থাকায় ভিতরে বাতাস ঢুকতে পারে না, প্রচুর গরম। এই গরম থাকার কারণে অনেক অসুস্থ হয় মেয়েরা।
Many women's pleas have been silenced due to the fact that they are not allowed to join trade unions, which would help advocate their workers' rights. However, globalization is leading to worldwide awareness of the situations these women are in. Through protests and demonstrations, workers brought global attention to their demands of an end to repression, higher minimum wages, weekly time off, overtime pay, and public holidays. The government of Bangladesh was forced to pass the Bangladesh Labor Act of 2006, which met many of the needs the workers demanded. This demonstrates how women are beginning to gain a voice in society, as well as achieving autonomy through globalization. Single women claim that they feel empowered and independent by their earnings. Many women garment workers now report being bolder, more confident, and knowing of the ways of the world as they negotiate their workspaces, salaries, in an often harsh environment.
পরে আমার এই যে সুন্দর আরো আমার জীবন পাল্টে গেল। আমার ছেলেকে ভালো স্কুলে পড়ালেখা করাচ্ছি। আর
Furthermore, the marriage age of women has decreased as well. Females who are not employed in the garment sector are married at about age 16, compared with garment workers who marry at age 20. Women's age at first childbirth is also significantly affected by the employment in the garment industry. It is 21 for garment workers compared to 17 for those not working in the garment industry. This also decreases the population growth of Bangladesh. Female autonomy in Bangladesh is also growing by means of education. Globalization has increased the number of females receiving a basic education. The introduction of new technology into the manufacturing or service sectors raises the minimum education requirements of the workforce. In Bangladesh, the female literacy rate is only 55.7%, where in the US it's 99% and globally it is 77%. However, Bangladesh's literacy rate is projected to increase as more technology is introduced to the garment industry. However, the increasing independence that women are gaining is also creating negative repercussions. This dramatic increase in women's autonomy puts a challenge to male supremacy in Bangladesh. This may provoke men to keep women in their place by means of violence. Globalization may be the cause of an increase in violent acid attacks against women in Bangladesh, as there are 300 cases per year. Survivors of acid attacks claim that they experience social isolation, encounter great difficulty in finding work, and lose the opportunity to get married. As globalization may be the cause of these attacks, it is also the solution. When the government of Bangladesh failed to provide basic medical care to acid attack survivors, local activists were able to contact international activists using new technology and pressure the Bangladesh government into providing necessary and crucial medical care to victims. Acid attack survivors even went on American TV shows like 2020 and Oprah to communicate the needs of women affected in Bangladesh. Organizations like the British Council and UNICEF help survivors access quality medical care, legal assistance, rehabilitation, and education. Bangladesh even legislated the death penalty as the maximum punishment for perpetrators of acid attacks. Not only is information spreading from Bangladesh to other countries through globalization, but Western ideas have started to propagate throughout Bangladesh. Women have abandoned their cultural roots and have begun to adopt Western practices. Westernized dress, modern haircuts, delaying marriage are all aspects of cultural globalization that women are now adopting. In addition, women in Bangladesh have picked up dating, celebrating Western holidays, modeling, and enhancing their beauty by means of beauty parlors and cosmetic surgery. Though globalization has allowed for women to taste new lifestyles of independence and self-reliance, the liberation of women in Bangladesh still has a ways to go. For example, human trafficking is still a common practice in Bangladesh. Women are smuggled across the border of Bangladesh and are forced into prostitution, are drugged, and kept as slaves. It is estimated that 200,000 young women are smuggled per year. However, there isn't much awareness about this issue, as it continues to grow and get out of control. Although globalization is causing women to be exploited like this, it can also bring positive social changes for women in the future. The knowledge of important social issues such as human trafficking should be brought to attention globally. Raising awareness would help these issues disappear and give more freedom to the women of Bangladesh. To this day, Bangladesh still remains an extremely patriarchal society with strict cultural constraints on women participation. Women have always been confined within the family. Early marriage and childbearing have dominated the life of women in Bangladeshi society. However, as globalization continues to bring countries closer together, Slowly but surely, the voices of women in Bangladesh will be heard loud and clear throughout the world.